Did you tell her? Tell her. Tell her. Shut up. I told you. I'll tell her when I'm good and ready. Now stop bothering me. Damn. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Now, today, as usual, I have another banger for you. But you gotta bear with me, people. I'ma break it down for you. Now, you see that thumbnail? You see that guy in the thumbnail with the pink hair? And you see that tattoo on his cheek? Well, that's a good depiction of a guy named Tony that I was locked up with. They called him Gay Tony. Now, this story also involves his partner, Charles. Undercover, of course. Big, strong dude. Walk around the pod like he the, big gang, this and that. But secretly, he banging a punk out. Now, let me run it down for you and tell you exactly the goings on. Now, Tony, he wasn't like that when he came into the prison. But he was young, had short time. I think he had like maybe a 4 or 5 year bid, something like that. And they dropped him in a box with people that got 10, 15, 20 years. Now, Tony, he was small, about 150 pounds, 5'6" or 5'7", something like that. He ain't have no chance around these monsters. None. And now, remember when I said all the booty bandits are on C Block? Well, that's true. Most of them are. But if you're not a known booty bandit, meaning if you don't got bad charges and you don't come into the prison as a booty bandit, you will be blended in society. You will get hidden in society amongst regular people, and now you're everybody's problem. Because now it is one single booty bandit lurking through the prison that we can't pinpoint. Now, Charles and Tony just happen to share a cell. So already Charles has been committing a prison crime, let's say. You are supposed to immediately put a punk on the gate. If you get a punk in your cell, you're not supposed to live in there with him. Not one night, not 2 nights. Definitely not month after month. So, it's safe to say that everybody had a clue of what was going on in that cell. And I guess everybody was just like, hey, listen. As long as they stay to themselves and this punk ain't messing up the pod, it is what it is, but you better keep him on the leash. Meaning we don't want to see this punk parading around, in tight clothes and all this nonsense. Well, I guess he couldn't keep a short leash on him or a tight leash, because before you know it, after maybe Tony's 2nd year in prison, he was wearing a pink wig. He done had one of the tattoo guys put pink lips on his cheek. He tying his shirt up, y'all. He got a little twang in his voice. He walking around with his state pants extra tight. And this is explicitly what we said was not supposed to happen. So, I guess Tony, he ain't getting in no trouble. He ain't getting no fights, obviously. He wasn't bringing stuff in. So he wasn't a troublemaker. Tony was racking up good time. And before you know it, Tony, well, he was looking at a date. A date is when you're about to go home. You're months away from going home. They let you know months away. Now, normally, Normally, most people do not share that date with anybody because, unfortunately, in the prison system, y'all, it's nothing but haters. Once somebody finds out you got a date, they start bidding on you, calling you short time. And that's not only letting everybody in the prison know that you got short time, you're supposed to be going home soon, but it's also putting a target on your back saying he got short time. So we might as well keep him here with us for a little longer. Yeah, y'all. You think somebody that got 10 years to do care about you catching an extra 2-year charge for fighting or some nonsense? Nah, they don't care. They want you to stay locked up. They want you to be there miserable with them. They don't want to see you go home and do good. Remember that, YNs. Stay out the bullshit, because unfortunately in prison, it's just like crabs in a bucket. They're going to keep pulling you back. As soon as you think you're getting out, they're going to pull you back down. Now, Tony would get his date, and he know he going to be out of there in, say, the next 6 months. He got 6 months to keep programming and doing what he doing, and his good time is going to do the rest. Now, Charles got about maybe another year or so left doing his bid. He been down for a minute. He's an OG already. He already got 10 in. So he'll be going home probably by next year if he max out. Now here's where things would get sticky. Pause. Every night for the last, let's say, year, Charles been banging Tony out. I mean, breaking Tony back in that cell. Tony was a straight bottom. And, Tony fell in love with him. Tony did not want to leave Charles alone. Tony ain't have eyes for nobody but Charles. There was plenty of people up in there that was pushing up on Tony. Yeah, Tony walking around the pod trying to look like a woman. And there was some of them booty busters on the low trying to sneak up in the DMs. Now, Tony come back, tell Charles every single time. Now, Tony would feel some type of way because Charles normally wouldn't do anything about it. And his reason being is that he didn't want everybody to know what was really going on in that cell every night. Even though everybody had a good idea. You could be as quiet as you want, Tony, but everybody know Charles in there breaking your back. Now, he wouldn't go and defend Tony's honor and tell these booty bandits, that's mine, you can't have her. He wouldn't do none of that. He'd just be like, hey, listen, man, don't pay no mind, man. Don't pay them no mind. That's all. I can't get in no fights. I can't get in no fights over you because that's going to, make things look crazy for me. I'm married. I got kids. I can't let this slip out. This could end up real bad for me. So, Tony, you know how sometimes when your woman might be feeling depressed and unappreciated and not loved, and, that's normally when your woman getting ready to go cheat on you too, by the way, guys. But anyway, if your woman ever seems to express that to you, that's what Tony was feeling like at that moment. Because Tony felt like he gave everything he had to that relationship. This is all he knew for the last year and change. This was a part of his life now. He can't go back. I mean, Tony can't just go home after getting banged out for a year straight and go back to women now. What are he going to do? So, Tony decided, nah, I'm not having it. He gonna have to leave his wife, and that's just what it is. I know he want me. I know he got to have me. So he gonna have to leave his wife, or I'm gonna have to just tell her what's up myself if he don't. Now, Tony is talking crazy. Obviously, for Tony to get to the limits that he's already crossed, obviously there's something diabolical going on in his brain. He thinks he's a woman, and he wants a man to leave their wife for him. Tony doesn't understand that to Charles, he's just having fun. It is what it is. What stays in prison stays in prison. If you get what I'm saying. If it happened there, it stays there. That's what Tony said. But Charles said, it's never going to happen when I get out of here. When I get out of here, I will not contact you. I don't want nothing to do with you after this. This is just us getting by, surviving, enjoying each other. And Tony like, nah, man, nah. It's more than that. I love you, Charles. I love you. Charles, you can't do this. You're going to have to tell her you leaving. You're going to have to tell her you leaving her, Charles. And Charles got angry as hell. He started popping off, abusing Tony, smacking him all in his face. Pat, 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 pat. Shut your ass up, oh. I ain't telling her nothing. Ain't nobody gonna know nothing. And he over there, Tony, whimpering. Why you hit me? Why you hit me? That hurt. My face gonna swell. Why you hit me? You ain't gonna tell nobody. Nothing. And Tony like, I'm gonna tell your wife, man. I'm gonna tell your wife about us. You better tell her yourself. I'm gonna tell her. Now, Tony don't realize Charles is very serious about his wife and nobody on the outside ever finding out anything that happened on the inside. The lengths and the limits that he's willing to go to, let's just say Charles might not be going home in 1 year if he keeps going the way he's going. Enough with the suspense, y'all. Let's just get to it, because I know y'all waiting. Let's just get to it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now's a great time. Hit that like button and hype this video. Let's go. Now, after that crazy argument Charles and Tony just had, Charles, he was feeling some type of way. Because now, he don't know what he just did. He like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have smacked her. I don't want to go tell nobody. I don't want nobody to find out about this, even people in here. So he feeling some type of way. He go out and he buy a bag of tree. And he say, I'm just going to make it up to him. I'm going to have a gift for when he come home tonight. And they talk like they live. They do live together in the cell, but damn, Charles. Anyway. So Charles go ahead and roll the tree up, and he wait. He waiting. He waiting for Tony to get back. He not gonna, burn it without him. Now, Tony get back to the cell. His last lockdown. They make their little hookup for the night. Have some, noodles with some Jack Mac. Crush up a few cheese doodles in there. They do the damn thing. Now, after dinner, immediately, Tony is acting a little distant, like scary. After that smack, he like, I don't know if, I want to be near you type shit. Like, he kind of moving away. Now, Charles, he immediately get into his apology. I'm sorry, babe. I ain't mean to hit you. Look what I got. I got us some joints. Yeah. Come on now. Come on, sit down here on this bunk with me. Come on now. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I promise. I promise. Now, don't he sound like a no good nook? Anyway, Tony said, "All right, man. All right, just don't hit me no more, man. Don't. I ain't get involved with you for you to be hitting me. Don't hit me no more. I promise. I ain't gonna hit you. I ain't gonna hit you." So now they smoking and they toking and they passing that thing back and forth. Tony getting lit. Like, dang, this some good stuff. What block you got this from? You're like, yeah, that's my boy over there on C block. And right away, Tony should have known, like, are you been over to C block? What you doing on C block? It ain't nothing over there but, a bunch of sissies and punks. You was over there shopping? What you was doing on C block? Now, Tony getting upset. And he like, hey, I just went over there to get the trees, man. I just went to get the trees, man. I'm here with you. And he like, all right, Charles. I'm tired of this shit. You ain't gonna keep treating me like this. Now, Charles trying not to get upset, but he's getting upset. He's like, man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying real hard with you, man. I'm trying, but you keep testing me, man. What you want me to do? I'm a man. You was acting stupid. He's like, it was that time. And you wasn't here. You wanted to go running off, acting stupid. Now, at this point in time, Tony is horrified. Like, what did you do? You know they full of STDs over there? And you gonna bring that dirty you-know-what back to me? You gonna bring it back to me? How I know you ain't give me nothing? And without getting into too much detail, at least it's not as much detail as Charles gave Tony. But he straight up told Tony, look, man, I was just looking for a quick, fun time. I ain't do what you think I did. He just swallowed me. That's it, man. He just swallowed me. And Tony like, are you telling me the truth? Yeah, man. I swear. Alright. So they finished smoking together. And now it's pretty late, y'all. It's about, 2:00 in the morning by now. They done arguing and all that. They done kissed and made up. Now, Tony is still down laying on the bottom bunk when he should be up on his bunk, which is the top bunk. But punks sleep together. That's normal in prison. As long as the guards don't catch you together in the morning, you good. Now, these two, they had the white sheet always around the bed. So if a guard did walk up, they'd have plenty of time to get up, hopefully, and get themselves presentable before they come from out of those sheets. You're still going to get a charge for having the white sheet up, because that's a charge in itself. But anyway, y'all, Tony's down on the bottom bunk. And Charles decide, hey, you know what it is. He feeling some type of way. They done smoked. They done ate. Now he ready to get down to business as usual. He ready to break Tony back, as he always does around this time. And that's what he starts to do, y'all. But only this time, Tony is kind of fighting back. Tony not in the mood. Tony don't want it tonight. Now, Charles ain't trying to hear that shit. Charles like, man, I done spent my money on you. Went and got you some tree. I said sorry. What you want me to do? You want me to go back over to C block? What you want me to do? And Tony like, nah, not until you tell me you gonna tell your wife about me. You can't have none. You can't have none. Tell your wife about me. Tomorrow morning, you tell your wife about me, and then we'll talk about it. Then I give you some. And Charles, he mad as hell now. He like, man, this some bullshit. This some bullshit. So he quit messing around with Tony, and he tell him he get mad. Well, get your ass out my bunk then. Get up top. Get up on your top bunk. Get out my bunk then. If you ain't doing nothing. And Tony got up and got on up there in his bunk like he was told. Now, I know y'all thinking like, what is going on here? This sounds so much like domestic violence. It is. They was living together. You know, technically, after a certain amount of time in different states, you are married. So, technically, if they don't move inmates around, say at least every year, you let two inmates live together for a long enough period of time. Under the state laws, they are technically married. I bet y'all never thought about that. Yeah, y'all. I'm telling you. Step into this world. Now, in the midst of Charles pretty much graping Tony, Tony tells him straight up, Charles, if you put that in me, I'm going to tell your wife as soon as I go home what's going on. Either you tell her or I'm going to tell her. Now, Charles like, man, whatever, man. What? Charles put it in. He ain't care nothing about what Tony was saying. Oh, Charles, I'm going to tell Charles. Charles. Now, Charles putting in a little bit more work than he normally do. Now, I told y'all he been breaking Tony back for over a year. But let's just say Charles been making love to Tony for over a year. Right now, Charles is graping Tony. And Tony ain't enjoying it. Tony is screaming and yelling until finally it come to a low murmur. Like, because Charles done shoved Tony's face in the pillow. Charles took what he wanted that night. And he ain't have no bad thoughts about it. He ain't care, y'all. And then after that, Charles looked at Tony and said, you ain't gonna tell nobody nothing. I dare you. I dare you to go and say something. And Tony just laid down there on the floor. Tony ain't even crawled back up to his bunk. He was too scared. He crawled out of that bed and right down on the floor. And laid down right there, curled around the toilet. Yeah. Tony felt like he had been betrayed, y'all. Tony felt like his trust had been betrayed because he didn't think Charles would ever do something that violent to him. He thought they had a good understanding. The Vaseline comes first, Charles. But Charles saw red. He wasn't trying to hear no talking. That little demon on his shoulder told him to go in now. And that's just what Charles did. Now, the fact that Charles might have felt bad about it after he had done it, well, that don't make things any better. That don't make the fact that Tony's gonna need stitches any better. That don't make the fact that Tony's bid was a living hell because of you, Charles. You're a monster, Charles. And you going home to your wife And child, after the things you've done to a man, yeah, Charles, I think one of these days, somebody is going to serve you some prison justice. And me personally, I just hope it's booty, booty, bam bang, bang. Or even the Punisher. Either one of them, well, let's just say you get stuck on C Block and they hear about what you did to Tony. Oh, you gonna pay. You gonna pay like you never paid before, Charles. Now, I'm sorry I had to drop that segue, but let's get to the ending of this story, shall we? Charles, well, he told Tony, you ain't gonna tell my wife shit. And Tony like, yes I am, yes I am. Soon as I get out, I know where you live, Charles. I know where you live. And Charles again said, nah, you ain't gonna tell nobody shit ever again. And it was at that moment right there, y'all. Now, I need y'all to get in the comment box and tell me what you think. Do you think Charles did the right thing, or do you think he wasted his life and did the wrong thing? At any rate, y'all, Charles grabbed Tony by the throat. Charles is 3 times bigger than Tony. He started choking Tony's throat and choking. Tony gasping for air. And Charles not letting up. Tony like, he choking Tony out. Tony passing out. Tony eyes rolling back of his head. Finally, Tony not moving. And Charles does not stop choking. He choked and choked and choked until Tony was gone. He unalived him in that cell. Yeah, y'all. He unalived Tony in that cell. And then, I don't know. I don't know what Charles did on the outside, if he was a smart guy or what, but he tied a bed sheet around his throat. And then he hung it up. He hung it up on the corner on the corner of the cell, on the bars. And he left him hanging there. And he got back in his bunk and he acted like he was asleep the whole night. So when the first CO came to do a check and he saw him hanging up, immediately they hit the bells. Red alarms going off everywhere. They pulling Charles out of the cell. They cutting him down from that hanging noose. And Charles went to lock up for a few weeks while they investigated. But although Charles choked Tony out, it looked like the rope did it. His damage to his neck was consistent with a rope burn, or, what would happen if he was hanging from a rope from a long period of time. Charles didn't get charged with that one. He got off on that one. But morally, do you think Charles got off? Do you think Charles could live with himself knowing he was banging a punk out and plans on going home and banging his wife out the same way? And that's another thing too, ladies. Y'all gotta read the signs. If your man just came home from prison and all he want to do is turn you around and try and enter that back door, he might have been a booty bandit in prison. If he's asking for it a little too much, hey, babe, let me get that back door. Let me get that back door, babe. You better question, how much time did he spend in prison? How much time was he in there for? 5 years? 10 years? 20 years? And he keep asking you for that back door. He might have been a booty bandit, y'all. Listen, that's going to be the end of this story. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it. I mean, I guess the only thing you could have learned from it was that there are couples in prison that go through the same drama as you on the streets. Listen, get in the comment box, touch down on this one. I really need to know your thoughts on this one. Like, share, subscribe, hype the video, tell a friend to tell a friend. Your boy Jay Corner, back with that fire. Alright, with that, I'm going to get up out of here. This is the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner, and I'm out.